I'll be back, bro. I'll be back.
Let me show them a little something. Niggas in Paris, I'm in Paris in the rain. I love the nightlife, car, it compliments the chain. Compliments the AP, it compliments the stones. She say my pearly whites compliment my face. Next to the Eiffel Tower, see that shit in movies. I love the life I'm living, because that shit's a movie. She know nothing about me, she still wanna do me. I saw her looking over pointing, I bet she a groupie. My face is super big, so I can't left my weapon. My bro lost his mum, now he suffers from depression. Every L I took a lesson, man, that shit's a blessing. Before the wax came out, we was doing chefins. And then I kept up couple fuckeries with a Smith & Wesson. And when a Mizzy starts to speak, I swear it's so aggressive. I can't forget about my block, the A I'm fully repping. And I don't link them boys no more, I think they get the message. Niggas in Paris, I'm in Paris in the rain. Suicide mission if you try to grab my chain. Lost the hell.
Alright. Suicide mission if you try to grab my chain. Got my back against the wall. I swear shit, this ain't the same. It's always me that gets the blame. Alright, yo, we're gonna start with a top-down analysis. So, same routine, top and bottom of the daily range. On lower time frames, oh, let me move this out of the way, hold on. So on lower time frames, the rule of structure is a closure against the previous down candle initiates a pullback. We usually pull back into the previous range left unmitigated. On lower time frames, a closure against the pullback creates a valid high or low and a previous range for us to move back into. But my daily bias really comes from the 15-minute. But just understanding where you are helps make you realize profit. Honestly, it's that right there. It's that right there, and you apply the same concept on the 15-minute now. Cool. This is the previous candle right here, right? So I'm paying attention to the top and bottom of the, not the daily range, but 15-minute range now. And on lower time frames, you understand a closure against the last down candle initiates a pullback into where the previous range we've left behind. It's your job to read the narrative. So it's the initiation of the pullback, and we start counting from. So you see one, two, see the liquidation of the third. Once you see the liquidation of the third pullback, just track your highs and lows. Because in the event that we see a closure out, we know that it's just made to be liquidated. Now, if you're a chaser, cool, you probably want to enter into a position, right, to continue and attack these lows. Shows you don't backtest. Because usually the move, that impulsive move that you want to, happens when the counter trend reversal, that first reversal that I'm talking about, right? It usually happens when we liquidate them people there. But as for where I'm looking to put my money, let me because that was just me talking about structure. Let me just the previous range. It's also your job to manage risk inside of a zone. Manage risk inside of a zone. That's also your job, bro. But that's on the top side. And you see where I position myself? Top and bottom of the daily range. And I know that, oh wait, is this a 15 minute? Hell no, yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, that's down over here. So I know I can just zoom out and know where I am on a higher time frame. Make an informed decision. I'll invert my perspective though, just to see if I'm missing anything. So yeah, let's go on a 4 hour. So I already mentioned closures against the previous down candle there, up candle here. They initiate pullbacks and then we start ranging inside, and you know what, right? Previous range. I already mentioned that. Um, mentioned you start counting your pullbacks from after that, and that I don't even know what to call it, but like I'd like to say initiation of the pullback. Like that's what started the move. It was that closure against that previous candle. You start counting the pullbacks that take place. You'll be looking for the liquidation. You're not chasing this move down. You're not doing that. I don't know if there's a All I see is the supply here. Let me investigate that. I'm still not seeing the bigger picture. Oof! Jesus! Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have even looked at that shit. Okay, okay, okay. On a higher time frame, we can see a rejection from here and then probably to then liquidate it, right? When you see these fractals right here, just don't expect shit to hold, bro. Every single high and low here is an excuse for the market to attack something, bro. Don't expect shit to hold, but you can catch a rejection though. It's just about how long you're holding for. Don't be expecting these moves to be like taking out highs and lows. No, but you can get a one-to-one from them, bro. Right? You can get a one-to-one. Put your stop behind here. Just take that and be content with it and move out. Move on to the next one. But I don't manage like that still. But I know some people that be trading DTFX do be doing things like that. And like I personally don't even try and engage anything. Yeah, this is the initial pullback. Like we only see the liquidation of the second pullback. I usually like to just wait for that third one there, and then I start to track that, and then see what it wants to do. Innit? That's the only thing I put my money on. Only thing. And of course, the market can do things. It can reverse at earlier. It can reverse earlier than three pullbacks. It can reverse at four. It can reverse at five. But it's just like more time or discipline. It's just something I do. I don't really put my money anywhere else, bro. And that's back tested, isn't it? So I recommend that you guys do that too. Just be patient. You usually see continuations happen from the initiation to about three pullbacks anyway. I'm not just saying three, just throwing out a number out there. No, this shit been back tested. That's the common pattern. And I know if I just wait for those three pullbacks to be liquidated, more than likely not early on the move. But I also know that first reversal that takes place is also fake. So I just basically have two things to wait for before anything else, before I even consider where I am on the left. I pay attention to structure first. But I kind of went on a tangent here, just seeing if I could use that top zone. I don't know. I don't really know. But the one that I'm sure of is this sell here. I know I can catch a little rejection back into there, take my profit. Hmm. Right, the top of the range as well. Like, I'm usually seeing that. I'm looking for that. That's always my expectation. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but this is how I literally manage my expectations of what the market's gonna do. And when I say manage my expectations, I'm talking about the more patient you are, the the likelihood of you managing an entry is just always going to be bad. So the way I manage my expectation is okay, cool. Sometimes I don't even know what the fuck the market is doing, yeah, but I don't have to know. I can just choose to make the decision to be patient just by waiting for something to be taken, bro. Waiting for a valid higher low to be taken. And in fact, I'll wait for two highs or lows to be taken, right? The closure here and then seeing a closure up here. Now, sometimes on a higher time frame, it can make that, on a lower time frame, yeah, on that perspective, it can create a higher time frame wick here, something like that. And then you see something, you're engaging in this move right here to get down. But yeah, I was looking on, let me see what I got on over here. I just want to see what this zone looks like with a high time frame perspective. Because this is what sometimes trip you guys up. You see a scrumptious, unmitigated area, but you don't know where you are. Oof, much rather. Sometimes I like seeing the charts like this too. Like, it's like seeing a fucking skyscraper, bro. That's how I see it anyway. But this is inverted though, so that's a different perspective on price. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not using that. Don't even expect that to hold. Why? Because we haven't even taken something. I don't pay attention to continuations out. No. I like to just wait until some highs and lows responsible for something. Okay, cool. Now I can, even if this zone doesn't hold, I don't give a fuck. I know I can still, manage my expectations because I'm reading the right side of the chart. But yeah, if you guys want me to look at another pair, just say so in a invert scale. I'm trying to make one 5 minute. Now, in the event that the market does reject, right, give you a one-to-one, whatever, I don't care. Just waiting for that. Waiting for that. Um, Someone still, what's this? Vitruvian asked if I was still in the Dave mentorship, and no, I'm not in it. When you're in the mentorship, you'll understand that bro is just saying the same things over and over again. Like granted, like for real, he's doing that shit. Not that it's a bad thing. Like you realize, okay, cool, you don't need no more extra information. You feel me? So it's like, all right, cool, say no more. Now it's just up to you to back test and you go your merry way, right? But yeah, man, this stuff's legit. Like, what I'm using right now is how I'm doing my whole analysis, right? Stuff's legit, bro. But I believe I've balanced it out for myself, and that's just what you're watching here make me do. Like, I don't follow his rules, but he gives you a guideline, just guidelines to follow, and you have to find yourself within price if you know what I'm talking about. I know now that in his mentorship he's been given models and stuff, but yo, when I was in his mentorship, there were no models, bro. It was literally just straight rules. Just okay, cool. Back test this. Seriously, just back test this rule, and then it was up to you to find yourself within that rule. Okay, cool. How do I respond in this environment, knowing what I know now? And if you had just followed those instructions there, trust me, you would have arrived at the same conclusion Dave would be. But for some reason, it's a real thing. Like people are not back testing, bro. Seriously, people are not back testing for some reason. I don't know why. For some reason. But anyway, yo, we see a closure here, creating a valid low, and I want to see that clipped. In the event that we get a closure here, I'm just tracking my previous candle. I know I said I want to see that clipped or that cooked, and it don't matter, bro. When it comes to managing your expectations, it's all about seeing the liquidation of that previous candle first. Why? Because that initiates a reversal, and in the event, when we start, it could be making pullbacks down, or it could straight away go up above this high. Oh, shit, this high. And it's just about paying attention to each shift in the environment. The market really only goes into a trend or a range. So in the case when we close against a pullback, we're actually trending. And until you see that closure against that previous candle, high or low, whichever the market's going, now you know that you're ranging. But until you get that, then you know the market's trending. Until you get that closure there, now you know it's ranging, and then when it's ranging, you know that's not even an environment you want to be in, bro. When you're ranging, you know that you're inside of a range. How do you conduct yourself? And it's like, yeah, you don't. I don't engage inside of a range anyway. Let's see. Following the instructions seems to be the hard part, and many people in that mentorship were saying the same shit, but it's really not, man. It's not following the instructions that seems to be the hard part. It's the inability to actually sit down with yourself. It's 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 the sitting down and back testing part, because you can look at a rule. It's the like I told you guys, you have to find yourself within the rules he's given you. Whatever model he's giving you guys right now, it's like you're placing your trust in a model that works within a system you know nothing about. You guys get what I mean? If you don't know how price actually moves, where are you placing your trust? On a model? On it's like this. We're talking about models. Let's say the fashion industry, the fashion market, right? If you wanted to trust a model, call it whatever, someone specialized in the field, right? Trust a model that you're gonna be extracting profit from, right? You're gonna be taking pictures of the guy. That's your model, right? How can you trust that model when that model don't even know the market he's in? How can you trust that model to actually give you money consistently over and over and over again when it doesn't even understand the environment that it's in? That model's just gonna lose. He's gonna lose you money, man. You can't rely on that model. You can't just rely on that model because he's that model is unaware. You have to teach that model where you're coming from. Steve, where are you coming from now? Just how the market moves. But a lot of what I say is a lot of what Dave's saying. Just good habits to be to navigate yourself in the market. Just good habits. Everything that I'm saying is just all that. Look, what's the title of the stream? Everything you need to know just to realize profit, bro. You will, if you start watching my streams, you'll start to understand that even I'm saying the same shit over and over again. And it's really about showing you the consistency of that. Because if you're really withdrawing profit from these markets, best believe you're not changing nothing. Even down to the way you communicate, your routine. Now, maybe like you may like change a few words, but I'm talking about, the step-by-step process. in the way you make your decisions. It's I at least I know for myself that I had to make it easier for my mind to operate it. Because sure, like when you're learning all of this shit, you're overloaded with information. But once you know, you know. And now it's just about, okay, cool. How can I, bro, it's so crazy, bro. Like you have to kind of just synergize with it. Because at first you're not, right? You're just discovering. So you really got to synergize it with your own mindset, with your own behavior, which we'll see at first will be, in at conflict essentially. And then that's another hard part people get into. And okay, cool, they've given me these rules, but I feel a certain way about it. Let me just do this because I know it will put myself in a comfortable state, which is usually going against the rule or going against the instruction that they've actually set. And well, that innit? It's just that they just strayed away from. They thought they knew better, but you're out here looking for information on how to do better. Honestly, bro, yeah, it could just be the inability to follow instructions. And here I am trying to make it a whole different to you. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. You're right. Oh man, but just takes trust in it, bro. Let me check out gold, and you'll see it's the same routine. Look, I'm gonna go on a daily time frame. Okay, cool. I'm on a daily. What the fuck? On a daily. That's the bottom, and that's the top of the daily range. We go on a 4 hour, and I'll explain my rules again. When we get the liquidation of the previous candle, we usually initiate a pullback, right? A closure against that pullback right here would validate a low and notify us that we're in a trending environment and that we can't even make a decision yet until we see a closure against the previous candle, just like what we saw here on the 4 hour. I'm just saying that again. Yeah, okay. I'm just watching out for this. Now, that's my higher time frame analysis, right? But when it comes to scalping, when it comes to scalping, I like to just do that same routine on the 15 minutes. So I see bottom, top of the 15-minute range. I'll go on a 5 minute, and I'm just seeing a failure to close against that previous candle there. But we liquidated it, right? So what do we know? Just from this context alone, that shit, I'm not placing my money above it. Fuck that. I'd rather wait for something to be taken. And I know my probabilities of managing a move back into that range are way higher. But when I consider where I am, I'm not making a decision simply because I see that we're in an unmitigated zone. Why? Because we haven't even taken something yet, bro. I'd rather use a zone after we've taken something, bro. See that, see that, see that, see that. And yeah, see your last down move here. If I'm gonna scalp, it's what, 50% of the zone? But more importantly, because I've seen that we're taking something, right? I see multiple rejections weakening the zone, but even though I know that it can give me a substantial rejection, and you know, it can do that, but how do you respond to that? Right, you wait, right? You still wait. And if you're gonna exercise your ability to manage risk, it's always going to be after something's taken. But yeah, that's my take on gold. But as for where it is now, I know that this is a previous range that we're in. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. I'm getting too excited. I'll wait for that. And we see something here, right? And if you ask me, I say, if I'm gonna manage a substantial move, I'm positioning myself where? I'm positioning myself at the extremes of the range. If you guys don't know where these are coming from, it's the top of the previous day, bottom of the previous day range. So I don't put myself in a situation where I'm trying to manage a move that is just price is just consolidating in my entry. Fuck that. I'm not on that, and you shouldn't either. You shouldn't either, bro. So I'd rather just wait for a valid low to be taken out, or uh, that high is not valid yet, but that's fine. At least we can liquidate this pullback. You know, we can get a short rejection down into there, and this is what some of you guys will be marking out, right? But my profitability is in there. It's in that pullback out. If you guys understand SBS, understand that I'm number three. Essentially, this is number three, and you know what you guys are trying to catch here that closes out. You usually see that S&D liquidated, and you see that, right? But I'll show you on my, whenever the market provides, right? But on my entry confirmation, you'll see SBS there too. For- But I don't use that shit. I'm not even here to teach that shit. That's just something that you observe. Like, oh yeah, I can spot that too. I don't be using that in my decisions though. What do we do? Not much happening on gold though. Gold. Oh, how many swings have we got here, bro? I see that. I see one, two, three, four. We're bound to get a reversal soon. Let me just track that. Oh, what's the 15 seconds saying? We got. Ooh, what you guys seeing? What I'm seeing. Now, I'm putting my money on that still. Just because of what I see on the 15. Now, understand this entry here is because of the narrative I see here, right? This is a valid low on a 15-second time frame zone that we've left unmitigated behind. In fact, this last down move is responsible for that, but we didn't get. Wait. Yeah, we did close above. Had to just check that, and we didn't get a mitigation inside, or a slight mitigation anyway. Slight mitigation. So I manage my expectations. I'm not looking to go to the moon. You know what's created when I just want to see that you build that discipline of closing one to one. That is where you need to put all your focus in. It's that consistency there, because you're gonna see these moves go way further than a one to one. But then, if you start thinking in that direction, your greed creeps in, and I'm telling you, it creeps. You won't notice it unless you exercise the discipline of closing one to one. Because if you don't, then you're willingly letting it creep in, actually. Now, you could close partial one to one. Yeah, you can manage that how you know how. But I'm talking about if you want to just get the execution right, just want to get management right, all of just close one to one. Because keep in mind that the moves that I'm anticipating in are the larger moves, and it's the first. It's the creation of a new low. It's what initiates the pullback, and then you can see multiple liquidations of a pullback. You see one, two, three. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm any idea that the market's going to continue further is dead. Even though it can. But am I putting my money there? No. I'm waiting for that to get cooked, and then now I see a narrative that let's say this is a failure right here, right? But it's just the same shit over and over, bro. This requires a bit of patience, you know. Mm, 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 mm. Let me see. I haven't even been looking at my broker yet, and I realize it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. NQ March 2025. Ayo, well gone. Why is not showing up? We'll see. There we go. Um, yeah. Oh, here I am. I'm on March 2025. I didn't even notice. We're in June 2025 right now. Alright, there we go. Alright, cool. I need to save this chart trader, bro. Like, I'm always having to, like, it always comes up with like a gray option not allowing me to click it. Don't know what that's about, but there we go. Got to adjust the ATM as well, because that'd be dangerous. When you're seeing consecutive down candles like this, you're not really looking to get any idea that the market is going to reverse until we get the liquidation of that last candle. But we're trending down on the 1 minute. Why? Because we saw a closure out of this low. So we're trending down in the 1 minute, but we know in a higher time frame where that real trend is going, right? So we know that this trend down in the lower time frame is just facilitating a higher time frame pullback into where? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it just helps to know what the fuck is going on. Because market conditions change all the time, but you're able to, be in the know. I'm also trailing on the 15 second, looking for that counter trend reversal. So what I'm looking for in the 15 second is this exact liquidation of the previous candle and the liquidation of the pullback. That's what I'm looking for in the 15 second. Oh, fam, man is kind of cold, but man, no. And for me, what I struggled with a lot of the times was people telling me, "Yo, be patient," but be patient for what? And then that that kind of question will go left unanswered. People think that, oh, you just want to rush for no reason. Like, no, what the fuck? I want to actually get somewhere. Feel me? Like, got shit to do. But it's a bit difficult to do that when someone tells you to be patient, and it's like, bro, they don't tell you what the fuck to be patient for. Now, I used to have the same problem when it came to trading. Like, okay, cool. I know I have to be patient, but what am I being patient for? And it's just literally what I tell you guys all the time, man. Just liquidate the previous candle, liquidate the pullback, liquidate the counter trend reversal, like all of those things. And I haven't even talked about what the S&D responsible can do for you, but in time, innit? Because usually that's like the way I enter my trade. So yeah, I believe that just what I'm sharing with you guys, bro, like it's gonna help you so fucking much, bro, when it comes to just sitting back and just making. You know how I trade every single day, bro? You know how I like my routine, you know how I pay my bills every day, bro? Is just making that one decision. And I know it's worth it though. Yeah, it's long, but it's worth it. You know what it is, bro? You're actually just stalking the market, bro. That's work to you, bro. That's the work, bro. Quite literally stalking the market and just with two contracts, bro. Micros at that, bro. Two contracts on micros, bro. Earns you daily wage. Just stalking yourself. One decision, bro. It just takes knowing where you are. Let me check the 15 minute though, because we're breaking out of that range still. Say no more. Until we get this candle closure. Let me just keep track of that daily though. So just tracking, our candles in the 15 minute, we see that you're in no position to be selling here. Do not, let me remove that. Do not buy low. I mean, what? Do not sell low. That's what I'm talking about. Don't sell below. Don't chase reversals, bro. Don't chase reversals, bro. Don't be doing that. Some it's just some nitty behavior, bro. Seriously, bro. Don't buy below. I mean, don't sell below. Don't buy at the top. You know, some nitty behavior, bro. Try to buy at the. Try to. The reason why you don't want to be selling at the bottom of the range is because the pullbacks that occur are sharp. Meaning that you're gonna be, if you were to enter in here right now, your risk of being in drawdown is high because that chance of the market pulling back is high. Now, let's say you do wait for the market to pull back, right? Oh, you know what? I may as well just talk about it. About, imbalances and shit. You want to be paying attention to the first imbalance. So let's just do it. Just pay attention to it. Shall I tell you what your expectation should be? Bro. That shit don't matter in the market. That's what I think about imbalances, bro. Get that shit off your chart, bro. I don't even be paying attention to that shit. Only thing you should be paying attention to is structure, bro. Let me see the 15 minute. Okay, 5 minute. So what helped me also was locking my perspective to the 5 minute range. Like that does help a lot. Now look, what you guys instead of imbalances, bro, don't even pay attention to that shit. Pay attention to that first move back into the previous range because usually that's the move that we come and target. And then you see this, I don't care whatever's this, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that sequence. Man, I'm chatting about imbalances and that, bro. Pay attention to structure, bro. Because helping these when you understand the market to just be a sequence of events, now it's just about okay, cool, how you conduct yourself within these events. If this or that were to occur, how do you engage? How do you get involved? Or how do you respond? You could just be like, hey, I'm not finna do nothing because I know I always lose here, so I'm finna just sit back and watch this shit. And watch other people get cooked there. Why? Because they don't have the self-awareness that they keep losing and they keep losing there in that position. And you'd be like, oh shit, say no more. I'm glad I waited. Shall I tell you the difference between um I was watching Stoic's video and I fuck with what Stoic do, you know. Stoic was actually inspirational. I can't lie, it was a superficial kind of inspiration, but whatever. When I say superficial, I was looking at his tweets in it and I saw his equity curve. I was like, yeah, I want my equity curve like that. But apart from that, cool, whatever, right? He's got cool videos, whatever, right? And what he mentioned in those videos, what really got me laughing was the me. He said something like, "Yo, meet the market's biggest donor, the DJ gambler." Oh my days! When he said that shit, I was like, "Yeah, man, I relate." Like, it's really that the market's biggest donor. It's us, but a part of ourselves anyway, right? The DJ gambler. You're not immune to it. Everyone's got it, right? But then it really got me thinking. Okay, let's say we understand a part of ourselves is that DJ gambler, right? I've understood that, okay, cool. When we are not that DJ gambler, like the you that's able to consistently end days in profit, withdraw it, and then move on with your day, it's the investor in you. And I thought, you know what? I haven't really, dwelled into that perspective when it comes to trading because I, for one, had the identity. And I'm not saying investor is the identity you should be holding on to now. I'm just talking about from a different perspective on how a trader handles his money and how an investor handles his money. And I started to realize, oh, trading is just about executing day-to-day activities. Just being able to operate, keep the cash flow going, and like it's the smaller picture. Whereas when you start thinking of yourself as an investor, you start to realize, okay, you know what? You just start thinking about money differently. Like, in fact, you don't even give a fuck about money, bro. Like, there's such a way you can, I say it's the perfect place for a trader to let go. It's a perfect way to let go of that perspective of a trader. I was like, okay, cool. If you want to think from a higher time frame perspective or from a bigger picture perspective, just imagine if you were to invest your money rather than spend it. And I'm sure every trader like yeah, that's how we ideally want to be. But there's that other part of ourselves that want to gamble and shit as well. And yeah, man, it's there, bro. That's why we have models and shit. We have rules and shit. We place restrictions on ourselves in these markets because we know we're only human at the end of the day and shit like that. You feel me? So, but for right now, with how I'm living and shit, what allows me to just balance everything is really just yo. every fraction of energy that I invest into this world has to be from an investment standpoint because you want a return on what you do. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. As a trader, I have to think about these things too. And I can't lie, this mindset only really started creeping up, which it's actually cool to have now when I started withdrawing profit around what, right, April really. And it was, yeah, just a way to just to balance things out, man. Because for so long, man, just hungry, bro. Do you get it, bro? Just hungry, just working this shit out. And you realize once you really got it unlocked, like, bro, things slow down. I'd say my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind. My mind isn't rushing no more, bro. Like I realized I was just in such a rush, bro. Just rushing, rushing. I wouldn't say it was like a blind rush either. That it was you preparing for something, but you know how okay, cool, you're rushing to prepare. That kind of shit. Like, okay, cool, I know I'm finna have the let me just did it like I was in like constant preparation, just making sure shit is good because I know man shifting my whole life trajectory in a whole different fucking course, bro. I'm entering in a world where nobody can pretty. When I say nobody, of course, it's an exaggeration, but my bro, like, who the fuck do you know in your immediate environment that can actually help you, like, just help you with consistency, bro? Let me just say that, bro. And for me, it's no one, bro. I ain't got no one like that. I ain't got no one like that, bro. So when it comes to maintaining that consistency, like, what I've had to learn, bro, is like, yo, I have to really guard myself, bro. Not on a thing where I'm scared of everyone and shit, but let's just say man's sensitive. And that could throw me off my game. I gotta be on balance, right? So I could, it's all about balance, bro. Cause yo, I was putting in 24-hour shifts, bro, and that ain't no exaggeration. Just burning my eyes on this screen, bro. Just executing everywhere in the markets, bro. And it's just like, yo, I still backtest every day, of course, but I'm living life too now, bro. Shit. I'm living life too now, bro. But it's so weird, you know why? I sort of feel bad as well. Like, bro, how can I recognize I'm pacing myself, but I'm like, yo, I just need to direct that drive. That drive is still there, but that drive is no longer on the chart. In fact, that drive has been directed into like this whole YouTube thing now. Like, man's hearing it. It's no longer a case of I'm learning how to trade. Now I'm using what the fuck I know to just live life. I realize, okay, cool. I'm at that point. I used to upload videos back on YouTube. Let me just give something to give something for the peoples, and let me see. What's that? Up candle. We initiated. Now we got one, two, three, four. Pay attention, bro. Just pay attention to structure. Let me see what. Nah. Let me see what. But you know when I say what it takes to realize profit, bro, it's just keep these three rules, bro. Just keep these three rules, bro. Hold on, because I want to kind of um this is number one. This is number two. That's number three. And number one is actually tracking your pullbacks. Number two is waiting for that liquidation of the previous candle. Number three is my entry, which I haven't really talked about yet, but in time I'll talk about it. Keep that, bro. Keep that. Don't get fooled by this. It's not everywhere. Do you see a zone? No. That up move is irrelevant if it's not in the zone. Be patient. I say that because I was looking at my 15-second looking for a little scalp, you know. But I realized, yeah, man, it's just a bad habit, bro. Get it. Look at where we are, though. Wait, let me see. Okay, cool. We are at the origin of the move, but that's always something we can trust. But wait, bro, wait for something. Get it. Wait, just wait. Hmm, just wait. But I believe I've delivered my message here on YouTube. I taught you guys about structure, just the my foundation, quite literally. What this is this one, two, three thing here. You want to at least see three. You want to start tracking your 10 minutes. So that's one, two, three. Okay, you see four, whatever. Reversal, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? This is how I built trust just trading the current trend. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. I hope you guys take this information in, bro. I hope you guys take this information in.